I mean, it's not gonna look the same as everybody else's, but at least it'll be.
Oh.
Oh my god, it shows your Google Plus picture. Look, because I just turned mine on.
That actually looks kind of cool.
It shows me licking Catwoman's face.
Yeah, that's not so cool, but
I thought that was kind of cool.
Anything show up there?
Nah.
no, you're still lower thirdless.
Lower thirdless.
Maybe you need to delete the Hangout toolbox and add it again?
Oh.
This is totally something that
Oh, wait. Turn on draw, and we'll have Liam connect from Germany and draw you to lower
Oh,
third.
yeah, it's only almost 3 a.m. there.
Yeah.
Someone call Liam. He needs to wake up and do that.
I got this.
Where is the coming from?
Is it? Can you record something real quick and see if it's on the recording?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you know what I just realized? I
What?
just realized that I did not update the post. Holy shit.
Yeah, the chat room has been kind of...
My bad.
See, this happens every time. Every time David's not on, this happens.
That's because I forget.
I know. I'm aware of that. I know that's why it is.
Yes.
I know, I forget. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, fellas. I'm so sorry.
Where is that sound coming from?
Did you try
It's coming
recording
from my
it?
house.
I'm just thinking I can live with it as long as it's not.
But it's low enough that as long as it doesn't get louder, I can remove the frequency.
Man.
It may possibly.
Yeah.
I
You're going to start
really-
reminding me, because I will forget this shit.
I've rerouted every single cable and replugged in every single cable I have. So.
It's definitely on your end, though, guys. It's not one of us.
Yeah, it's on our end because it was on there before we even connected.
Technology
Man.
is awesome, except when it sucks.
What'd you say?
It's louder now. That's great.
I'm louder now.
Yeah, you figured out how to make it worse. Now just do the opposite of what you just did.
Wish that I could install these glasses on the computer so that it would,
Fuzzy walnut dippers.
Yeah, Bertel, if there's anything that you want to talk about, even if one of us have it claimed already, you should say something, so you can
It's
so you
coming
can
in from
get
there.
your words out on your
Yep,
first
it's-
podcast appearance.
Are you saying now, or I just dive in at a time?
No, just now.
Okay, it's ready.
It's also dive in,
Both of us will open our
I just want
mouths
to call dibs
and just
on.
break in. Shut up! Stop talking!
So, I'll tell you what I've learned today so far. I've learned that Bertel has never actually watched or listened to this show.
Watching, no.
I
Yeah, most people don't watch it.
also just want to point it out that I don't blame him.
Well, I know there's a lot of awkward pauses, so I'm prepared to contribute that part.
Sweet. We need
You
somebody.
can leave all the awkward pauses to me.
Also, I can't connect to the chat room. Anybody else having a hard time with that?
I haven't looked yet.
everybody in the chat room seems to think it works.
Okay. Well, mine just keeps saying
You
timeout.
just I think you just completely missed the lack of logic in that statement. But that's all right.
I got it.
The podcast, the chat room is always
Still there.
in the bud.
Boom! I'm connected. What?
I don't even know why I bother plugging into the chat room. I almost never say anything.
It's coming in from my stinking soundboard. Well, that is baloney.
Bologna.
So, Bertel, the intro order is at the top of the spreadsheet, just so we can at least avoid the awkward pause at the beginning where nobody knows when to say their name.
Right before Bob.
Okay.
We've still got several pig topics.
Hold on. Somebody is saying that they see. Please stand by.
Boy, hang it's being a real.
Hold on, I got it.
Well, somebody posted a YouTube link earlier that I think was for last week or not the right one. So.
Okay. All right. Pink topics. Let's see what's
So-
up.
Yeah, so it wasn't that cable, as I suspected. It was.
I'm
So it's
nominating.
gone.
I'm nominating Bertel to talk about the broken Nexus 5 thing.
I nominate Bertel to do that as well. Boom, son.
Oh,
Second
I have-
Scott.
I have
You
not.
told- You better read it fast.
Yeah, please skim that.
You don't need to be. I think you're overestimating the professionalism here.
Yeah, sometimes Matt's like, so, he'll pass the topic off to me. I'll talk
Like,
about
I
something completely different because I don't know.
You can sort of see sometimes Cam is like he's looking off to the side. He's obviously staring at the article, reading it as he's talking about it. It's like the first time his eyes have ever looked at it.
No, that I don't.
Oh,
do
I see a
that.
Crack Nexus 5 here. Okay.
I don't does that.
Yeah.
I don't does that. I get it.
Nothing beats the times when I pass it to David and he says, "Wait, what are we talking about?"
Except for the times when you pass it to David and he's not even here.
Yeah.
We should do that a bit tonight.
Oh my God, we totally have to. We'll pass it, and then we can all like kind of grunt and groan in David's stead.
I can start drinking my beer.
I have passed stories to Eric before.
You're like, so, what do you think about that, Eric? And then silence. All right, cool.
Pass something to Artem and tell him he has to call in. He has 5 minutes.
Bertel, you should take one of the two remaining ones, and Cam should take the other one because I say so.
Based on the way that I understand these things work, as long as if we say something and then he joins in, it means he said it.
Yay! We have all the topics.
So
I haven't read several of these though, so.
So we have to do. With 5 minutes left in the show, I say we share the Hangout link and then have kamikaze guests.
can you
Okay.
do that with a Hangout on air?
Yeah.
You can have
link-
up to what, 10 people?
You can have up to 10 participants, so I'll just share the link and hope that they don't get our YouTube channel banned.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully, no penises, guys.
I'm gonna
No
share
penises.
it. I'm gonna share it in the chat room. I'm not gonna share it publicly.
Oh, okay.
The IRC chat, maybe. No? Who knows?
Yeah.
Nobody will take us up on it anyway.
I mean, as long as we get going on the show soon, because we're already
20 minutes late.
Holy
20 minutes late is the new on time.
Okay, I'm gonna start it then.
go.
Do it.
Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Thursday, September 4th, 2014. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm Cameron Summerson.
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
I am Bertel King.
And I'm the guy pressing the buttons. My name is Bob Severance. I'd like to welcome Bertel to the show. Yay!
It's good to be here.
Good to have you.
Thank you much. Bertel's an awesome contributor to the site, and hopefully will be joining us multiple times in the future, maybe?
Maybe. He has volunteered to give us many awkward pauses, so we'll look forward to that.
Awesome.
We can always use more of those.
That really takes the weight off of us. You know, we don't have to pause awkwardly quite as often, which, you know,
True.
Good.
All right, well, let's not awkwardly pause before we go on to the rumor roundup. But instead, let's awkwardly pause after we go to the rumor roundup.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All
All right, so leaks this week all surrounding Moto devices, starting with the Moto G, Moto X Plus One, and lots of other good stuff. So Ryan, why don't you tell us what's going on with the rumor mill in Moto?
Well, so Motorola thought it would be a really good idea if they pre-announced all of the things they're about to announce at a private press event earlier today, and then they wouldn't tell everybody until like 1 in the morning Central Time, which makes absolutely no sense. So of course all day there have just been all these leaks. They should have just told everybody, because now we know most everything about these devices. So the Moto G, there was a promo video posted by a Brazilian retailer, so we've seen what that device looks like, a couple of things that it'll do. It looks a lot like the original Moto G. It's not going to be a huge spec bump. The screen is a little bit bigger, but still 720p. The version that we saw the video of, it's going to be the dual SIM one, running KitKat, and it's obviously still the mid-range device. But then at probably the same time, like we had both of these stories in the queue like simultaneously, and the X Plus One, or they might just call it the new Moto X, we're not sure yet, and the Moto G both showed up on a German retailer's website, and that listing for both devices included what seems to be the full spec list. So it's kind of what we've been hearing already. They're both KitKat devices. The new X is going to run a Snapdragon 801. Interestingly, there's no mention of any sort of new branding for the X8 computing platform. That was the thing that they used in the Moto X to do all of the always-on functions. So it might be that they're just using the hardware built into the Snapdragon 801 to do that now, but there might also be some sort of made-up brand name that they'll tell us later. So it's an AMOLED again, 5.2 inches, 1080p screen. People are a little bit upset that it is, I guess it's it's half an inch larger diagonal than the original Moto X. Camera's 13 megapixels. Again, this is all according to this listing, which looks like it's true, but we don't know yet technically. The battery is only 2,300 milliamp hours, which is also upsetting to people. That's like 100 milliamp hours more than the X, so it's not going to have uber long battery life or anything. We'll have to see how that goes. And then the Moto G specs listed on that site, pretty similar to what we saw mentioned in that video. It's it's a 720p screen, 5 inches, still only a gig of RAM, quad-core Snapdragon, I assume a 400 maybe. I don't think they didn't actually list the model number for that one, but 2,070 milliamp hour battery in that one. Let's see, and then finally, a video of the actual, honest-to-goodness Moto X Plus One, or new Moto, whatever. That showed up, and it showed the camera gesture opening thing, which they had on the last one, where you just sort of rotate your wrist twice and the camera opens automatically even if the phone is asleep. So that's cool. It's a thing that will still exist. But you can look at the video and just get a better idea of how big the phone is in your hand. I think that's kind of the main point of watching the video. You've probably seen the flick gesture already. So I think
I don't want to watch the video unless it has lazy phone in it. Does it have lazy phone?
No, the lazy phone guy's not in it. This is just some guy that got his hands on the phone.
I want lazy phone videos. That's what we need. So okay, so with all these leaks coming out and no real leaks about the 360, do we think that it's getting announced, or is there?
Yeah, I think it's pretty surely getting announced.
They've already technically announced the 360.
Yeah, I mean, we know pretty much everything about that device.
Yeah. I mean, all they're going to say is, oh yeah, so that watch round one we were doing, that's going to be available beginning on day X for X dollars.
Yeah, they'll tell us how expensive officially it is and when they'll sell it. I mean, supposedly Best Buy stores have already been getting shipments of them in, but who knows?
And they've also been putting it on their website. Maybe that's why nobody feels the need to leak it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we got all the 360 leaks.
Best Buy would never do that.
No. All right, let's move on to Code Google. All right, so we're going to kick it off with the keyboard case for the upcoming HTC Nexus tablet. Looks like we've got a lot of information about what that case might look like and what it might be. So, Cam, what's going on here?
So basically, we're basically sure this is going to happen. It's essentially like a smart case, like a smart cover, much better than the one for the Nexus 10. It actually has folding things and whatnot, and a Bluetooth keyboard. I mean, it's not unlike any other sort of keyboard accessory that we've seen before. It has an NFC chip for pairing over NFC. It has a 450 milliamp hour battery, and it's going to hold the tablet while you type on it. So I guess the really interesting thing is that this is an official Google accessory, and we haven't really seen them venture into this territory before. They've done cases. They also, at one point, I think, did cases. And
Charging
now
dock. There was charging docks.
They've done wireless chargers as well.
there were charging docks and also cases. And now there's also this case with a keyboard in it.
Okay. So you're saying that they may or may not have something to do with cases?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So let
That's not
me
the case.
okay. Wait. Let me ask you this.
That's not the
So
case.
since this is a Google Nexus accessory, how many months after the device comes out do you think this will show up?
Before I answer that, I propose that moving forward we call them Nexcessories.
Nexus. I think I'm okay with that.
Okay, Nexcessories. So I'm betting on, I'm going to say 4 months. 4 months.
Okay. Bertel, your guess?
I actually wasn't listening.
No, you have actually seen the show before.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
you fit in perfectly with this
He's
show.
filling David's role. There we go.
Yeah. Basically, we were in the middle of a very long and overwrought joke about how Nexus accessories never come out at the same time as the device. So you can just agree with that, and we can move on.
I'll say 6 months.
Okay.
6
6
months.
months. A pessimist.
All right, so let's move on to Nexus 5, which of course is not new, and it's been available for several months. Although several months.
Yeah,
Although,
that's I think that's like 7.
7. That's exactly what it is. Anyways, it's been available, and there now appears to be some new policies rolling around in the Google Play universe about replacement policies for the Nexus 5 that maybe aren't necessarily documented or official, or I don't know. Can we rely on this, Bertel? Sorry. God damn it! I knew I was going to say that.
Yeah, so traditionally, if Google sent you a Nexus 5 that wasn't working properly, then they'll own up to it and send you a new one. But now users are reporting that if they have one that's actually been damaged, and they call the support line, and Google will actually ship them a brand new device. Of course, there are some caveats. It only works with the Nexus 5 that's been purchased from the Play Store, so nowhere else. And it's a one-time deal. If you break the replacement, you're kind of screwed. And there's also the catch that it still isn't written anywhere. So if you go out and break a phone, say you get a bright idea and you decide you just want a new one, well, it's not written anywhere, so they don't owe you one. And that's unfortunate, because I kind of feel like breaking mine right now.
Yeah, you've been having some issues.
Sure, it depends on the rep you get on the phone. So if you got a broken Nexus 5, you might have to call a few times.
Yeah.
Be extra nice.
I could call them and be
Back
like,
pocket and get real drunk.
if they tell me no, I can be like, bitch, don't you know who I am?
Well, fine,
I think
I'll
the
buy a
reason-
new one.
I'm on an Android podcast, god damn it.
And they'll be like, oh.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
I'm sending an angry tweet right now.
Yeah.
I think the reason it's not written down is they just want to make sure that everybody knows that if the only reason you broke your Nexus 5 was to get 1+1, then you're disqualified.
Man, I was hoping somebody was going to bring a 1+1 into this. I could always count on you, Matt.
All right, so we got some what?
That's what 1+1 is.
2. That's right.
The 2.
Speaking of 2,
Speaking of that,
it looks like there might be an Android Wear 2
really?
coming soon.
Explain.
I'm going to leave that to Cam.
Well, okay, yeah, we got some inside information that we're very confident in, that Android Wear 2.0, which is not really an official name, it's just what we're calling it. It's an OTA going to make Android Wear better than it is because it's the second version. Will be released on October 15th. We don't really have a whole lot of other details as far as which devices will get it, but considering that manufacturers are not allowed to taint the Wear experience, I would imagine that most all Wear devices would probably get it. I mean, most
I
of
would
them
be
just
surprised
came
if it
out.
wasn't every single one.
Yeah, I mean, they all just came out. They're all really new, so
They have I think they're all the identical internals, aren't they? They're all Snapdragon 400.
I really don't know. I don't. Are they? Are they all Snapdragon
I
400?
think so far. I mean, I guess we'll find out what the 360 is, but
Snapdragon 400? Maybe. I bet the 360 because it just wants to be different. So it. I don't think it'll have the 400. It'll be something else. So anyway, yeah, we don't know exactly what's going to be in it, but just we expect it to be more betterer.
More betterer. There was a little bit of information from an engineer over at Google about two of the features that we might be seeing. Maybe not in the next update, but one to come, right, Ryan?
yeah. So this would actually, if it comes to pass, make Wear a lot more attractive for like a fitness device. So supposedly down the road, Wear will be able to support its own GPS hardware in the device, not relying on a connected phone, and you'll be able to pair Bluetooth earbuds to it. So you could actually put music on the device and listen to it through your earbuds without a phone anywhere nearby. I mean, most of these devices have like 4 gigs of storage, which is more than you probably need to run a handful of apps. So there you go. That's the thing that might happen.
It's a thing that might happen. I'm imagining I don't know, I saw a picture somewhere of somebody wearing a G-Watch that had the charging adapter underneath it and then a portable battery plugged into that so they could have...
I saw that too, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
battery tucked in
imagining,
the strap.
for some reason when I imagine any peripheral hardware being hooked up to Android Wear, that's what I picture. I picture that the GPS device is going to be like this inch-thick thing that sits underneath the G-Watch. And I don't know. I really hope that that's the way that at least the first pass works.
It'll be like a camera where you have to like buy the GPS dongle and plug it into the port on the side.
Yes. That'll be what the Asus ZenWatch will be like because they're the ones who like dongles.
They do.
Yes. All right. Let's move on to the hot sheet.
Hot sheet.
All right, so Liam and David are sitting over in Berlin right now, just waiting for the next day of announcements. And
I actually think they're sleeping, Matt. It's 3 a.m.
That's the method they choose to pass the time while they're waiting. I can't really fault them for that. But the Samsung announcement came already, and we had several new devices there to talk about. So we'll start off with the Note. I guess can we say it's the Note series now because we've got 2 Note devices, 2 Note phone devices. Obviously, there's been the tablets, but the Note 4 and the Galaxy Note Edge that were announced this week. So Ryan, tell us about those.
So the Note 4 is essentially a Note 3 with a better screen. It's Quad HD. That's 2560 by 1440. Prior to this, the G3 was the only domestically available phone that had that. Otherwise, it looks a lot like the Note 3. You get a slightly higher resolution camera at 16 megapixels now. It will come in 2 flavors. One will be the Exynos octa-core that they will sell mostly overseas, and then a 2.7 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon of some sort that'll probably be the US variant. The battery is almost exactly the same size, still 32 gigs of storage with the SD card slot. It has 3 gigs of RAM, which I think the Note 3 had last year. So not a huge difference there, but I mean, if you're into the Note devices, it'll be probably the phone that you get. And then if you want to try something maybe a little bit different, there is the Note Edge, which is pretty much the same as the Note 4, except on sort of on the right edge of the screen when you're looking at the device in portrait orientation, there is sort of a taper to the screen, and it actually is a curved AMOLED. And on that extra little bit of screen, you can get sort of like contextual information and notifications and app shortcuts. And so Samsung has built in all this sort of extra stuff to take advantage of that. I think it actually looks really interesting. It'll probably have a lot of cool like SU case sort of uses. If you have the phone just in sleep mode, I think you can set it to just always have the time displayed on that edge. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to work out to be like a really good idea, but it's at least really interesting.
I think they should have named it the Samsung Continuum 2014 edition.
I will. I mean, I'm not like defending it, but I'm gonna say I think it is a better idea than the Continuum ever was.
Really? Because I think it's the exact same idea, just in a different location.
Okay, the Continuum, they basically painted a black stripe across a screen. That wasn't even two screens. That was just like a regular screen with like paint on it.
But this isn't really two screens either. It's just missing the black paint.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I just think it's kind of an interesting idea. We'll see if it, amounts to anything. I would actually kind of worry that the software tweaks that they had to do to make this work will make updates even a little bit slower. But
Yeah.
Also,
I guess,
third-party apps won't play well. Someone in the comments mentioned...
I'm sure Samsung will release an SDK that nobody uses. And,
of course they will. Yeah, someone in the comments pointed out, like, if you don't like the stock launcher, going to another launcher will just make it completely useless, which is, I'm sure, absolutely true, because they moved, like, the drawer to the Edge window, and notifications show up on the Edge window. And
yeah, I mean, I guess if you're cool with TouchWiz, then the Note Edge will probably work pretty well. And TouchWiz isn't horrible anymore. It's not my favorite skin, but, I mean, it's tolerable.
Yeah, I guess. It is. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this phone. I don't know how I feel about it. I just know that those feelings that I can't yet describe are not positive.
Okay, so you feel...
I feel the same way.
I don't know how many people remember this, but they pretty much had this exact same phone running Tizen or Tizen or whatever at like E3 or not E3, but some conference that they were at before. I don't remember which one it was, but they had basically the same thing as a reference design at some previous show running Tizen, and I remember seeing it at that point in time that, boy, I hope they really come up with a better idea, and they didn't. So. Although the ruler's kind of cool. If I could use my phone as a ruler, that'd be, the ultimate.
Yeah, there are going to be some really probably kind of bizarre included applications. They try to sort of cram on there to take advantage of the Edge thing, and a lot of them are probably going to be really
Well, I really like the idea of the ruler on the side of my phone because then I can use it as a straight edge.
Because you absolutely cannot do that now. I completely agree. I like
One
this.
phone to rule them all.
All right, so let's talk about the other things that Samsung had to announce. I think probably the next, at least most unique and interesting thing next to the Note Edge would have to be the Gear VR, which we've seen, I think, just about every possible of that we could have possibly seen. So, is there anything new that we know that now that it's official, Ryan?
Yeah, kind of. It's really just a phone accessory. To use the Gear VR, you have to slot a Note 4 into it, which is really bizarre. So basically, it's going to be pretty cheap, I would imagine. They haven't said what the price actually is, but I mean, because all of the smarts and the screen are going to be in the phone that you have to sort of put in there, it should not cost as much money as buying a full head-mounted display does. So like the unit itself, it just has the mount that you strap onto your face, and it has the two lenses in there that you can adjust. And then it's running Oculus software because Samsung partnered with Oculus to do this. And also, interestingly, you might remember a couple weeks back, someone did a teardown on the new version of the Oculus developer kit, and there's just like the front half of a Note 3 inside that device. So this kind of makes a lot of sense in that context. So yeah, we don't know how much it'll cost you.
Samsung said, "I'll show you mine if you show me yours."
So I just want to point out, for the record, if you're the kind of person who's excited about this, you can actually right now go to Amazon.com
And kill yourself.
and search for Google Cardboard and get pretty much the same thing for $20, except it's made of cardboard. So just saying.
Don't kill yourself.
Don't actually kill yourself.
Don't.
And if Amazon really makes you feel that way, you should probably seek professional help.
Their phones do.
Or you could buy a self-help book on Amazon.
Don't do that. That's
Sorry.
tempting fate.
My
All right,
apologies.
so
Dumb joke.
yeah.
Awkward silence.
Let's do it. Awkward silence. Go.
I'm really digging the planned awkward silence.
Man, I love it. Why didn't we think of this a long time ago?
It's good because it makes the regular silences seem less awkward.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they probably planned that one too.
It's probably going to be really great for
Totally.
Bob when he edits too, when he tries to figure out which silences were planned and which ones were accidental.
All the silences belong to me.
All Bob does is actually he looks at the waveform and figures out which Ziggy lines don't look quite right and deletes them. So it doesn't matter.
delete all the sticky lines. That is what I do.
He doesn't actually listen to the show when he edits it.
I can understand that. Who would want to listen to this more than once? If you had to live it, you don't want to listen to it again.
I listen to
true.
this show 3 times a week.
For some
Live,
reason,
editing, and then afterwards, just in case I was too drunk when I was editing.
I subscribe to our podcast in Pocket Casts, and I don't know why, because I look at it and I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to that, and I listen to something else.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
not nice. It's a good show. You should listen sometime. I swear
I mean,
to God.
maybe I should start listening on the weeks when I'm not on it.
At the risk of drawing, unfair comparisons, do we really think that, like Tom Merritt sits and listens to all of the podcasts he does after he records them?
I don't
kinda
think that
doubt
there's literally enough time for him to do that. I think he podcasts more than half of the day, so he wouldn't technically have time to listen to all of the
I
things.
agree with that.
Tom Merritt does not sleep.
Unless Tom Merritt is actually listening to his old podcasts while he's doing new podcasts,
Oh my god!
in which case, then that would be pretty cool. That's
So,
impressive.
I take the Dr. Dre approach. I don't know. Dr. Dre said he doesn't like to listen to his own music, so I'm just feeling like Dre is all.
Oh, I'm really glad you brought that up because I forgot about Dre.
Oh, now that. Yeah, I don't believe that because I'm not even going to do the whole chorus. I was going to, but I'm not.
That's probably for best. We should probably move on.
We should probably move on. We should talk about tablets that are ruggedized so that they can handle the hard, tough street life. And Samsung.
They ain't nothing but a G-Watch.
Oh my god. Ain't got a G-Watch baby.
Samsung's got street cred, yo.
Yeah, they straight up do. So Samsung released a ruggedized version of their tablet line. The 8-inch Galaxy Tab Active is available. Well, not really. It's going to be available. So, Cam, what do we know about it?
So this is interesting because it's the first active device, it's the first tablet in the active line. We have the Galaxy S4 Active and the S5 Active, and now we have the Galaxy Tab Active. So this is a bulky sort of monstrosity of a tablet. It's massive and thick, and it can withstand a drop of up to 4 feet. It's IP67 water and dust resistant, and this is what I found the most intriguing. It includes a stylus they call the C Pen. Obviously, this is going to be a passive stylus because they're not doing anything active. The reason I find this interesting is because, like, a year ago, I was somewhere, and this was, like, before the Galaxy S5 even came out. Somebody was like, oh, yeah, they're coming out with the stylus for the Galaxy S4, and it's going to be called the C Pen. And I was like, oh, dude, you're so full of crap, I don't even want to hear it. So when I saw that this is called the C Pen, I was like, whoa, maybe that guy actually wasn't as
I I hate to burst your bubble, but there was an official C Pen stylus for the Galaxy S3.
Was there really?
Yep, I'm looking at it on Amazon right now,
Does
and I'm
C-Pen-
not killing myself.
C-Pen run.
Did you just look this up while I was? And this is an official Samsung thing.
The seller is listed as Samsung.
I
So-
still don't believe it. Okay.
That's just a guy. No, that's just a guy. Sam, last name Sung.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy who works for Apple?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he worked at the
Made-
Apple Store.
Okay, so the way this guy.
I posted a link in the chat, so if you don't believe me, you can click
I'm
on it
looking at it
yourself.
right now. So anyway, okay, so well now that I've showed my ignorance on the whole C Pen thing, I will carry on with the tablet babble. So it's got a 1280 by 800 screen, 1.2 gigahertz processor, more than likely a Snapdragon 400, a gig and a half of RAM, a really crappy 3.1 megapixel shooter. It's going to come with KitKat. And it has a removable battery. So that's interesting.
That's very strange. I don't remember the last time I saw a tablet that had a removable
I
battery.
can't remember ever seeing like a popular tablet with a removable battery. If I did, it's been so long ago that I have forgotten. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
So do I think this is a good device? No. Do I think anybody should buy it? Absolutely not. But I am intrigued enough to say that I find it interesting. And I guess that's kind of how I feel about basically all Samsung's announcements, except for maybe the Note 4. Because people are going to buy the Note 4. And they're going to love the Note 4. And that's
Well, the
okay.
people who buy this device are the people that need more than 10 hours of battery at a stretch, and they won't be near a wall. So maybe
Yeah, or it's
campers.
or big tough men doing big tough jobs.
I actually think that this is a great tablet for people who play games like, what was that, Super Hexagon? Because then when you get super frustrated with it and you throw it against the wall, it doesn't break.
As long as the wall is no more than 4 feet away from you.
Right. Well, of course.
Man,
wall hugging,
you blew my
frustrating.
mind with the C Pen thing. Did you know about the C Pen before I said anything about it?
I've been sleeping on the C Pen for 6 years.
You
You've
just
been sleeping on the
Really?
C-Pen, baby.
crazy. I sleep. You should try a bed at some point. You might get better sleep than on a
If I
C
get
Pen.
better sleep, then I probably won't want to hang out with you guys anymore.
That's true. Never mind. Just keep sleeping on your Capen.
My Capen.
Capen.
Right.
I don't know. Good sleep's the only way I can do it.
All right. So Sony also had quite a few announcements to discuss. Starting off with the Z line of phones and tablets: the Xperia Z3, the Xperia Z3 Compact, and the Xperia Z3 tablet. So lots of new phones and tablets from Sony. So Bertel, what's good with this line here?
Yeah, well, usually whenever these announcements come around, people kind of expect that they're going to announce a phone or device that looks more or less the same, but kind of different. And in Sony's case, it's just more or less the same. Now, it's still a better phone. You have decent specs. You have a 5.2-inch 1080p screen. You have your Snapdragon 801 processor. You have your 20 megapixel camera. But overall, it's going to look familiar to anyone who's seen a Z2, which in America probably isn't all that many people. The thing I'm most intrigued about is still the Xperia Z3 Compact, because it's still the one mini device you can get that still has decent specs, and I'm curious to see just who picks it up in the US, if it's worth actually getting excited about. And we've just seen announcements from T-Mobile for the Z3 and Verizon with Michael's excellent mock-up. You should take a look at that if you haven't, even though I'm sure you could probably fit a few more Verizon logos up there. What else was there? There's the Xperia E8, which we're probably not going to get. Budget device, Snapdragon 400, 1 gig RAM, nothing much to see there. And there's the Z3 tablet, which is pretty much the Z3 phone, but stretched out into a tablet, 8 inches. Cool stuff.
So the remote play with the PlayStation 4 functionality looks kind of cool, though, right? I mean, it's pretty exclusive to just this line of devices you just mentioned, but I don't know. I'm thinking if I had a PS4, I might give it a thought just for that.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how that would work. Because I have the Wii U, and one of the things I really like is that that's the one thing that tablet is for. And if I'm holding a phone and I'm streaming a big high def game to this thing, and alerts start going off, I don't know. I feel like that's going to ruin the experience. I don't know. It's hard for me to picture PS4 games really being shrunk down all the way to fit on the Z3, but they are streaming it to the Vita already, so
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. And they do have a clip that will connect it to a controller for you, so you can have that awkward setup if that's what you're into.
I'm into awkward setups.
Yeah, totally.
I like to play it on a television personally, but
Man, you know what I like even more than awkward setups? Awkward silence.
Awkward silence is good.
Yeah, let's have one.
are we doing that now? Okay.
But I mean, to be honest, isn't an awkward setup the same thing as awkward transitions? I'm really good at those.
Yeah, you're a pro. You could teach classes.
Awkward segues.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this. It's completely the same thing. I will say this, and this is not a segue or a setup or a transition. This actually makes me want to get a PlayStation 4 on one of these phones, only a tiny little bit, but it does. Mainly because I've got one television and children and a wife, and the main reason I don't have any console systems is because I could play it for like 20 minutes and then somebody's going to be demanding the TV. So I don't know, the little video where they show like the guy playing games and then all of a sudden his wife wants to use the TV or whatever actually kind of hit home. It hit me right here. It made me.
Well,
Heartstrings.
or you could get a Shield and do game stream from a PC.
Yeah.
Which,
Good.
come on, that's probably going to be better anyway.
Yeah, but then I'd have to like buy a PC. I mean, I was told this is the post PC era, so
You were lied
guys are
to.
living in the past.
You were lied to.
I want a Shield.
Well, yeah, I'd take one. It'd probably be a lot cheaper just to get a Shield.
Yeah, you get the Shield Portable and probably, I mean, if you're going to mainly do game stream, the Shield Portable will do that just fine.
Is that what we're calling it now? The Shield Portable?
That's
now?
That's what it's called. Yeah, that's its
renamed it
official
to
name now.
differentiate.
I see.
Shield Portable and Shield Tabert.
Tabert.
My problem whenever I'm streaming to something small is I usually play it for a while and I think, gee, I really wish I could like plug this into something so that it would be bigger. And then I just
You're weird.
You pick up something bigger. Yeah, I mean, there are some games that are definitely not super playable on a Shield, even if you're holding it like right up next to your face, like if they have really tiny HUD elements or something. But, you know, I would say most games are pretty good.
I will say the first thing that I did when screencasting went live on my Nexus 10 was to start streaming games to a TV and trying to play games with a Bluetooth controller via. Yeah, it doesn't work.
A little too much latency.
Way too much latency. Like Mega Man 2, when you're trying to jump and everything's like a second too late, you end up crashing through to Bubble. You can't even beat Bubble Man that way.
You cannot play Mega Man 2 with latency.
You cannot.
I can't play Mega Man 2 with no latency.
I was going to say, you can almost not play Mega Man 2 without latency.
Yeah, it would be impossible to play Mega Man 2 even if you were able to play into the future. If you had negative latency, it would still be impossible.
Negative latency. I like it.
All right, so.
Is that where the screen taps before you tap it?
Yes.
It anticipates your tap. Taparoo.
That's when the haptic
Tap it
feedback
on.
on your device tells you it's time to tap.
Tap, taparoo.
All right, so Sony had several other little things here and there to announce. Starting off with that interesting, I don't know if I'd call it useful, but it's interesting. The line of lens mounts that they announced starting last year. Now they've iterated it. Some new versions rolling around this year. So Cam, what's going on there?
Oh God, Sony is doing that thing again where I don't.
They're doing that thing again, Myrtle!
So they announced the QX1 and QX30. The QX30 is actually a lens sensor. Everything connects over Wi-Fi direct. It's basically the successor to last year's QX10, QX100 lenses. It's I mean, seriously, I don't understand how many of these they sold to justify doing another one. I mean, they maybe sold like 12 or 14 of them worldwide. Because they were so expensive. But anyway, and then they have the QX1, which is basically a lens mount. It has its own image sensor and whatnot, and then you can put another lens on it. Any of Sony's E-series lenses fit on it, but I mean, why?
I don't. That's the question that nobody could even answer with the last ones, and now they're like, hey, you know that thing you didn't buy? Here's a version of it where you can attach $1,000 lens.
Yeah, I mean, and it uses Sony's. What is Sony's app called?
Like photo memories or
Play
something?
Play Memories, I think.
Play memories? Yeah, that sounds plausible.
Anyway, so that app, the last time I tried to use that app, it was absolutely terrible. So I don't know if it's still absolutely terrible. They may have fixed some things, so now it's just terrible. But I don't know, man. Like, who justifies these? Who wants to buy this? Like, why? Why do you want this? Why would anybody want this?
I can almost justify it. I can justify buying last year's model because I just saw the 199 version go to like $79. So
that's maybe almost,
almost justify that. I want a little depth of field for my Instagram.
Yes.
Depth
of field for your crappy filters.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been interested because I have the HTC One and my camera just sucks. So yeah,
there is that.
Okay. So in the leaked story that we had, earlier this week, there's a picture of a woman who's probably got like several $100 lens attached to her phone, and the original QX lenses or whatever, they looked kind of odd and awkward, but when you start throwing these hundreds and thousands of dollar lenses on them, and they end up being 18 inches long, it's comical.
Like
in a way that even the
camera
Galaxy Note can't.
It's just stupid. All the phone is a viewfinder for these. Why is it even a thing?
It shouldn't be a thing. Get a Wi-Fi card or whatever.
Wi-Fi cable. I think you meant to say.
No, the little cards that have the built-in Wi-Fi.
It's Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Get an Wi-Fi card and screw this. That's what I say.
Yeah, I mean, on the for realsies.
Yeah.
I can honestly, I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to sound absurd, but I honestly think that the Galaxy camera is a better idea.
Damn,
you're absurd, man.
Didn't you? You went there.
Does anybody disagree with me? That's what I want to know.
The funny thing is, this is one of those devices that I would happily take if somebody gave it to me, but I would never buy.
Right.
It would be great.
I feel that way about a lot of stuff, though.
Yeah.
It's not really a compliment.
You also have a lot of that stuff.
Maybe. I mean...
the life of a reviewer.
Yeah, that's true.
How do I get that gig?
All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the other peripheral devices that Sony announced this week, starting off with the Smartwatch 3. There's also a e-ink Smartband Talk. Smartband Talk. That's what they're calling it, Ryan. So tell me what it is.
So the Smartband Talk it's pretty much just a fitness tracker. It has a small, narrow e-ink screen that will show all of your steps in the time and other fitness-related whatnots. So that, being e-ink, will run for a very, very long time. And then at the same time, Sony announced its first Android Wear smartwatch. It's the Smartwatch 3. Of course, the first two were running a completely different operating system. So this will be Android Wear, like all the other devices that have come out, although I would venture to say that it is uglier than all of the ones that exist. Because what the hell, Sony? So, I mean, some people will like it because it's the first Android Wear device that has just a regular micro USB plug on it, so you can charge it anywhere. But it just looks like a chunk of rubber that they just like smushed a watch face into.
Yeah,
and it's like, I mean, it's.
I appreciate I appreciate it. They're not trying to hide how plastic it is.
Yeah, they embrace the
It is unapologetically plastic, to use.
This is
according
not a
to
luxury
Apple
device here.
And it looks like the body of the watch is like built into the strap, so you can't swap it out for a band that looks better.
I mean,
Yep.
I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of think that.
The thing I'll say about it is, it kind of spans the difference between the fitness band and the watch. It kind of gives you the feel of a fitness band and the functionality of the smartwatch.
And look at the video.
I'm gonna watch the video. I didn't watch the video
wrist.
before.
It looks so
I'm
chunky.
I'm watching
and
it right
huge.
now. I have it muted.
It's like
Oh, wait.
they added like all of the bezel that they have to have around the screen, and then like additional like plastic pieces all around it. It just looks so huge.
All right. Well, I'm gonna point this out. I'm gonna point this out for the video viewers, because one of the things that I have like thought and said in the past about the 360, the G Watch, pretty much all the smartwatches that have come out for Android Wear so far, is that the thickness of the watch is just, it's kind of unacceptable. That they have these huge chunky watches, and then meanwhile the other day I was going to a wedding reception and I decided to wear my regular watch instead of my Pebble, and I realized that my regular dumb watch is this thick. It's almost a half an inch thick, and it makes me realize that smartwatches really aren't as bulky as I think some of us like to make them out to be, because dumb watches are pretty damn bulky too. Just pointing that out.
That is very true.
I watched the video, and I don't know. I still actually kind of like the way the Smartwatch 3 looks, because it looks. I do agree that they did like put a bezel and then wrapped more plastic around said bezel, which was kind of stupid. But it just looks really simple, and I like simple. I don't like a bunch of fluff on anything, so I kind of do.
I kind of understand that point of view. Like that G Watch R looks like just way too complicated.
Yeah,
Definitely
it's
not
over
going to
the
confuse
top.
it for something else.
It's really over the top. I mean, I could see myself actually wearing the Smartwatch 3. No lying there. I think it's kind of clean.
See, again, going back to the old dumb watch that I'm wearing right now, if you look at kind of the design of this is pretty much a G Watch without the smart shit. So, I mean, I can't get the angle right.
I hope when that thing comes out, LG has gotten it through its head that you shouldn't put numbers around the edge of a smartwatch that's probably not going to be showing a radial watch face all the time.
Man,
that's so out of place.
That was just trying too hard. They're like,
people want a smartwatch that looks more like a watch. We'll make it look exactly like a regular watch.
So here's how we're gonna do that. Yeah. No.
But I mean, to be honest with you, the watch that I just put on the camera, this is a watch that I bought. This is a watch that I like. I like the design of it. If I could wear a watch that gives me the smartwatch functionality and I can look exactly like the watch that I bought only for the reason of how it looks, why the heck wouldn't I want to buy it?
Why the heck not, Matt?
Why the heck? The heck not.
The heck why?
That's what I'm going to say.
Why don't they make a smartwatch that just has a magnetic real watch that goes on the front?
I think you should probably patent that.
Oh, okay.
You just gave it away to the internet for free, so you better get on that.
All right, so since we're on our smartwatch rant, we should probably move on to the Asus ZenWatch, which was also announced at IFA this week. So what's the ZenWatch, Bertel?
Yeah, so the ZenWatch is probably the first Android Wear Square watch that tries to look, kind of okay. It has curved edges, but the screen is still square. Now, Asus has stuck a leather band on it, and you have curved glass and a premium feel overall. But that's pretty much all there is to it. It's a square watch and it looks okay.
Squircle.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm going to call this right now. I think that this look is going to be the closest to whatever Apple does, which is the curved glass molded to your arm type of look.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on the ZenWatch because I think the overall shape is pretty good. I mean, the shape is a lot better than the original G Watch.
Yeah, the shape is fantastic.
I don't know how it's going to look in real life with the way the screen is just sort of floating in the middle of that really large bezel.
I know coming from the Pebble, it would drive me up the wall just having those two different shades of black there.
Yeah, I mean,
They
and
should have done a better job of matching the blacks. I mean,
well, I mean, and so much of what you're going to do on the watch is going to be not black. So
right.
I guess we'll have to see when it is a real thing that we can have on our wrists.
I personally think that my biggest opposition to the Zen Watch is I think the strap looks like garbage, but I'm probably going to be disagreed with heavily.
Well, I don't
You can
really.
swap that out.
All I really care
Yeah, you
about
just swap that out with something else.
with regards to the band is just that I can change it to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, honestly, like it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense for anybody who's making an Android Wear device to really focus on making a band that's going to be fantastic when they can really just make it swappable and let the people who make bands make bands.
Yeah, and as long as like the body of the watch doesn't interfere with like a band looking good, like if you take the band, the stock band off of the Gear Live,
The Gear Live, yeah.
it looks really weird when you put something else on it because it doesn't meet the taper at the right angle, so it looks kind of janky.
Yeah, agreed. But the Zen Watch wasn't the only thing that Asus announced this week. They had a refresh to the Mimo Pad series. So Cam, what's new there?
Some stuff
Yay, my favorite.
with the Mimo Pad. So anyway, this is Asus 7-inch line of tablets, and it's actually surprisingly pretty good for budget devices. Well, I don't want to say budget; they're not very expensive. This year they bumped it up to a 1080p display, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 or 32 gigabytes of storage, and it has a 64-bit Intel Atom processor. So it's 8.3 millimeters thick and weighs 269 grams. So small and portable. They look pretty classy on the exterior. So, I mean, overall, they look like, I mean, I say they, it's really just one tablet, 3 looks, whatever, 3 different colors. It's pretty nice. I like what Asus does with its software. I think over the past 2 years or so, they've really, excuse me, put a lot of thought into making their devices stand out instead of sticking with a mostly stock feel. And I actually like their skin. It always feels really lightweight to me and snappy. I like the stuff that they did on the newest Transformer TF701, I think. And this looks like it has a similar, if not identical, skin. So it's just really lightweight. It has a lot of cool features built in. And anyway, it looks like this tablet's going to be around $260 for, I assume, the base model of 16 gigabytes. So not terribly expensive for
No, not at all.
for the specs that you get. So I think I've always liked the Mimo line ever since I first reviewed it. I was really impressed because, I mean, it was like $150 for what it was then, and I was really impressed by it, and I've just liked them ever since. So I think this is a good spec bump for this line.
Now, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I seem to recall that the previous iterations of the Mimo line stuck pretty close to the Tegra reference design, the Kai platform and whatever was before that.
Yeah.
This one seems to be kind of moving away towards the Intel chip.
Well,
Any
they
thoughts on
kind
that?
of did. The first Mimo Pad had a MediaTek chip, I think. It was essentially a Nexus 7 2012 with, I want to say it was a MediaTek. God, it was something like that. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now because I really want to know. So they have, but they kind of did their own thing, and I think that Asus and Nvidia are kind of, yeah, it was a MediaTek. Anyway, they haven't really worked together a lot lately. Ever since the Transformer Infinity TF701 or whatever it was called. I think that was the last Tegra tablet I've seen from Asus, and so they've kind of been doing the Intel thing for a little while now. But yeah, I mean, it started off kind of like that. Like I said, they basically took a Nexus 7 and dropped a more affordable MediaTek chip in it, and that was the first one that I was actually impressed with. But I'm always kind of impressed with MediaTek stuff. I know it's not all that popular, but I feel like for the money that devices that ship with MediaTek chips cost, they always perform really well for the price point, in my opinion.
All right. So let's move on to the last tablet in our lineup, the Lenovo Tab S8, which was also announced this week. Ryan, what's going on with the S8?
So it is, you can probably tell by the name, an 8-inch tablet. And I have to say it's the first Lenovo tablet I can remember seeing that I actually am sort of interested in. So it's another Intel device, and it has a 1920 by 1200 screen, 2 gigs of RAM, runs Android 4.4. It is only 8.9 millimeters thick, which is probably pretty reasonable for a tablet of that size. So yeah, it seems like a pretty interesting device. I guess, if you're not really comfortable with the Intel chip, there's sometimes some weird app things with that. But I think that's mostly worked out at this point. It's just that you don't really see a lot of Android devices with Intel chips in the U.S. I guess we'll find out if this one does anything, or if it's another Lenovo device that nobody here buys.
This is just to be clear. This is an Intel chip, but it's not 64-bit, correct?
I do.
Wait. No, 64-bit technology compatible.
Okay. No, there you go. I mean, whenever that actually matters for Android, that will that'll be nice.
Well, it'll matter if it gets timely updates.
So it won't matter.
I think that's the takeaway.
Oh, also important, $199.
That actually is probably the most important.
Yes.
Because if you're buying this, it is undoubtedly not because of any of those other things. It's because of $199.
Yeah, pretty cheap.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for the hot sheet. Let's move on to app updates. Before we move fully on into the BioInk app, I think it's important that we observe this. Because we haven't had one of those in a while. Okay. So moving on to BioInk. Biomedical plague, disease, weapons, patients. I don't know what to make of this app, Ryan. Tell me what I should think of it. Give me my opinion.
Your opinion is basically that this is Plague Inc., except one person at a time. Right? So instead of killing the entire world, you're just killing this one really, really unlucky guy. So it's kind of a similar deal where you get points over time by completing little tapping, hunt and peck kind of tasks, and then you use those points to buy different abilities for your disease, and you can buy risk factors and somehow bribe doctors to make mistakes. I'm not sure how that works, but at any rate, your goal is to kill the guy before he is cured. So technically, it's less horrible in the basic concept than Plague Inc. because you're not wiping out all humanity. You're just the one guy, but it feels a little bit more personal, and I think it makes some people maybe a little bit uncomfortable.
Well, I think it was Winston Churchill who said that one death is a tragedy, thousands of deaths is a statistic. So in that train of thought, I think this is probably significantly worse.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an interesting game, and you can try it for free. It's got a little ad at the bottom. I think if you don't pay the $1 in-app purchase to get rid of it.
All right. Well, I think it's time to move on to other news.
It's time for other news. It's the news other than what we've been talking about. With
that was the best intro I've ever had.
I imagine that would be what it was like if somebody on their deathbed was implicating you for something.
As many will, I can tell you.
I actually visualized taking a big poop.
That makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Okay.
Should we have a silence for it?
I regularly actually imagine Ryan while I take a picture. I'm glad
The
Ryan laughed at that.
uncomfortableness is palpable.
Poop.
Bertel, are you happy you're associated with this?
I know. I can't wait for him to let his parents hear it.
By the way, most of this garbage gets edited out, so you'll be okay.
Yeah, and by the way, Cam, does your mom still listen?
Nah, my mom gave up on this show a long time ago.
Smart lady.
Just like she gave up on her son.
Exactly. Exactly the same way.
Is your mom hot?
I can't deal with my son anymore. Too many awkward pauses. He rambles.
We should probably talk about this Ouya thing, Ryan.
Ouya!
Ouya! Ouya, thrown in the towel. What's going on there, Ryan?
So there are rumors that Ouya is looking to maybe get acquired. They are talking to a couple of Chinese OEMs and also maybe a little bit to Amazon and Google. So basically, originally, the Ouya was supposed to have a new hardware revision every year, but there wasn't one after the first year. It's been over a year now. I think it's been almost a year and a half since that device came out. It's still, the same basic unit. It runs a Tegra 3. It has 8 gigs of storage in the base model. They released a slightly more expensive version that has 16 gigs of storage. They revamped the controller a little bit, but otherwise it's the exact same hardware that they've been selling the entire time. And they've also, they've changed their business model a little bit. They no longer require that all games have a free trial, and they're partnering with other companies to install the Ouya store. But if this rumor is accurate, that stuff hasn't worked out so well for them, and they might be looking for a way out. If anyone does acquire them, I feel like a Chinese company would be a better bet, because this is gaming outside of the Google ecosystem with Android, and that's kind of a great fit for the Chinese market, where Google services are either non-existent or just really hard to use.
That's actually a good point. They might do well in China.
Yeah, perhaps.
Is the Ouya right now available there?
I don't know. If
I
not,
should have warned you that I was going to ask that question. Then you could have looked it up.
Yeah, well, we can just do a cut here, and I can look it up real quick. No, not really.
Well, let's just have an extended awkward silence while you look it up.
Can't do it. I like to talk too much.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
You never shut up.
Yay.
All right, well, I guess it'll be interesting to see if there is a future there for Ouya, if there's an acquisition or another market that might serve it a little better than ours did. I think David is probably dancing a little bit right now, just thinking about the downfall of Ouya. Well, he's not dead.
Well, no. Well, the Ouya was so bad it killed him. He died of Ouya poisoning.
Death by Ouya poisoning.
Yeah. The only reason I haven't died is because I haven't touched mine in a long time. It's covered with dust. I'm afraid to touch it. I don't want to die of Ouya poisoning.
Yes. All right. Well, let's move on to voicemails, because we've got several.
Several?
Several.
Okay. I hear this sound.
Hello, AP. It's David from Long Island again. Okay, I agree. I won't call every week to complain about Hangouts on the Android phone not being able to connect to landlines. But I will make one last point as a follow-up to last week's call, which is why I care so much about this. So you guys probably remember for many years there were numerous third-party apps that let you use your Google Voice number to make phone calls over the data network, like Talkatone, and there were others, I'm forgetting their name. But in May or so of this year, Google cut them off. So everyone thought we cut them off. They were cut off because Google was going to come out with their own version. But alas, they haven't. So now we're stuck. People who actually want to use this are stuck since Google cut off the third-party guys. Why I care so much is I travel a lot internationally for work. And while making phone calls in the U.S. is no big deal on the mobile networks, when you're doing it internationally, it gets ridiculously expensive. And this is an easy way to save a whole bunch of money. So it is for anyone traveling internationally, it's fairly annoying. Keep up the good work. Love the podcast. I promise not to call anymore about this unless I got really annoyed, which definitely might happen.
I promise not to, but I definitely might.
Yes,
I like
it
it.
definitely might happen.
I agree with him. Google, don't kill the API or the access unless you're going to do something with it in a timely fashion.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's fair point. All around.
It is obviously like really lame when you look at Google as a single monolithic entity that is out to get you, obviously. But I imagine that this probably is just a result of different teams working on different things, and they had a roadmap that said, okay, we end support for this, and then we should have the the Hangouts voice calling ready to go pretty soon after that, and it just didn't happen for whatever reason. So
Change.org.
Yeah, start a
It's got
change.org
petition written all over it.
That'll definitely work. But yeah, I mean, it's lame. There's not really much else to say about it. I feel for you.
So Dr. Makinyasha in the chat room indicates that Groove IP 1.4.8 still works, so maybe that's something worth checking out. I don't
Check
know.
out Groove IP 1.4.8.
That
And if it
specific
doesn't
version.
work, then Dr. Makinyasha, kill him. Just do that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Not in a literal sense. I just mean
Kill him with kindness
with
for
kindness.
The nice suggestion.
say thank you, but it doesn't work, Doctor.
All right, let's move on to the next voicemail.
I'm definitely going to cut that out of the show. It's coming. I promise.
Gentlemen, this is Matt. My question for this week is about the Franco kernel. I've been hearing some things about this lately and how it can improve the performance on my phone. My phone is a top model phone that is 2 generations old, and I was wondering if you're familiar with the Franco kernel. Is it something that you think is worth playing with? And if in your opinion, it can improve the performance of the phone or in general, improve the phone. That's one question. My next question is, if it really is such hot stuff, I always have to wonder in these situations why Google doesn't implement the features and performance improvements into their own kernel. It would seem like a good idea if it is so good, unless, of course, there are some downsides to things like the Franco kernel. Look forward to hearing your response, and thank you very much.
Anyone know what he's talking about?
Yeah, I haven't used the Franco kernel in a really, really long time.
Is this the Annie DeFranco kernel?
Yeah, it is.
James Franco kernel.
Oh,
It's both, actually. It's really weird. I think Galaxy Nexus maybe was the last time I used the Franco kernel, so I can't really speak for how well it works now. But yeah, I mean, it does have. There's certain things about custom kernels exist for a reason, and people talk about them and love them for a reason. And I think when it comes to custom kernels, the Franco kernel is probably the most popular. I mean, give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I used the Franco kernel for a little bit on the Nexus 5 just as an experiment. I felt like the battery life was maybe a little bit better. I didn't notice anything huge with the performance. I wish he would have said which phone he has, because you just need to be aware, like you're flashing kernels, and sometimes that can break stuff. And it's kind of convenient if you have a Nexus device. You can just flash a full system image back if you do break something. So hopefully maybe he's using a Nexus of some sort. I guess 2 years ago would be the Galaxy Nexus. So hopefully he's not, because that phone makes me sad. But I think that the reason you don't see the features from these custom kernels built into the Google stuff is because Google and Samsung and all these other companies, they're building phones that are supposed to be very stable and that won't require a lot of configuration when you buy them. So if you're an advanced user and you're flashing a custom kernel, it's fine if you need to like mess around with it to get it working right, or if it causes a few more crashes, which sometimes they do. That's just not going to fly for a product that Google or somebody else is selling to you. So that's probably the main reason why you don't see those sort of optimizations in stock kernels.
Dexter in the chat room says try faux kernel. So your mileage may vary. Check it out. If it's a device that's that old, flash it. If it don't work.
If you're not sure like what kernel to use or if you should use one or the other, just go to XDA and look at the stuff.
I will say this, as someone who tried in the past to stretch as much life out of possible while still being interested in the device, my experience with devices that were a year and a half old, just switching ROMs, and I never went the kernel route, but if you've got to do something like that to keep your device fresh, then I mean, do it by all means. Give it a shot. What's the worst that's going to happen, right?
Yeah, if it's already
worse. Never mind. The worst that could happen is actually pretty bad. So forget I said that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's a 2-year-old phone, you don't really have a lot to lose. I mean, it's probably not going to last that much longer anyway at this point because phones are designed to start self-destructing in 2 years.
You do it when you can almost justify a new phone, and then bricking your phone fully justifies a new phone.
Yeah. Subconsciously, you're hoping that it breaks.
Yeah, that happened to me once, but instead of flashing a kernel, I threw my phone across the room.
Anger issues, jeez.
We have 2 more voicemails, so here is the next of the first of the last 2.
Hey, Pete, it's Brian. So, my question for this week. With IPA in full effect, it seems like everybody's announcing their smartwatches now. And everybody's advertising different features. Like Asus is advertising the Find My Phone feature or Google Maps. There's other ones that are advertising where if you have it in proximity to your phone, it'll unlock your phone. So my question for you guys is, how many of these features are standard Android Wear features, and how many of them are proprietary that they built on top of whoever is making the smartwatch? What of these features are you guys finding that appeals for each watch? Which one has something that none of the others do? So anyways, looking for some advice on this, maybe some potential Android Wear shoppers. So, all right, thanks guys. See you at the show. Bye.
I'll start off by saying that at this point in its development cycle, I don't know that you want to go based on features when you're buying a smartwatch.
No, the manufacturers are not allowed to really do anything to Android Wear, so Android Wear is straight up Android Wear. It does. I mean, there are things like the ambient light sensor on the Moto 360, which is nice, but as far as software is concerned, it's all the same. So really, I mean, when you're buying a smartwatch, you're buying the one. I mean, when you buy an Android Wear watch, you're buying the one that aesthetically looks the best.
Yeah, if they're talking about features like this, then they're talking about an app that they're including with it, not a new module in Android Wear. And you can get apps like that.
these are apps that are not going to be available for you to install on another Android Wear device, but that's for this exact moment. If there's a feature on one of these devices, because it's all app driven, it's not going to be long before that feature is going to be available on another Android Wear device through a third-party developer.
Well, yeah, I mean, a couple of the things mentioned already exist as apps on the Play Store. I mean, you can download an app for your watch right now that makes your phone buzz so you can find it, or all sorts of stuff like that. So we'll have to see, if any of them actually do something compelling. If they create an app that's really interesting and works well with the watch, then cool. But you should just buy the one that looks good.
Yeah, buy the one that looks good. That's the winning method, at least at this point. I don't see that changing really anytime soon either.
And our fourth and final, the last of the 4, the second of the second half
of the last two
voicemails is this awkward silence voicemail.
Hello, AP. On the heels of Samsung Unpacked version 2.0 for the year 2014, my question with their devices, why are they still using Gorilla Glass instead of switching to Sapphire? Is that a proprietary substance to where Apple has a corner on it and nobody else can use it? Or are they just being dumb and cheap like some of their devices that they released? Making sure the towel rack remains relevant. I'm time for the DJ. Good night.
In short, it's because of cost.
Yeah, there are already
Sapphire is very expensive.
there's already at least one Android device with Sapphire Glass from I think Kyocera.
Yeah.
It's just that it's expensive to make Sapphire Glass. Apple has a technology patented that supposedly makes it cheaper and easier to make the slabs of glass that you need for phones, but for whatever reason, Samsung either hasn't seen the need or hasn't developed the technology yet to let it do that economically.
Yep.
Nailed it. That's exactly it.
Nailed it with a capital P.
That's right. Capital P. For nailed it.
For nailed. Spelling was never my strong suit. That's really loud. I'm going to try that again.
Wait, we haven't talked about contests.
Which contests?
There aren't any.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this show. As always, send your feedback to podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also send your hate mail to Matt Smith's house. Bye.
Yes. Wait, where's the random invites?
Oh.
I was told there would be random invites.
All right, let's do a random invite here.
Booyah!
This is the post show. I
post-show.
still got it rolling here, so if we come up with anything good, we'll just
Solid
keep it
Gold
going.
will make the show.
You can
Here's the deal.
do it in outtakes.
Here's the deal, everyone. We're gonna post the Hangout. We're gonna post the Hangout link in the IRC chat. So if you're listening or viewing, you can click it and join the show and be a guest host. And here are the rules.
Wear clothes.
You have to immediately launch into a topic, or we will boot you. I don't even know. Can you boot somebody?
We'll find out.
We can mute it.
Figure it out.
Oh yeah, I can eject them. I can eject you.
Okay.
Ejector seat.
Get yourself ready, guys. We're gonna do this quick, so don't.
Is
throttle.
anyone in the chat room actually interested in joining the show? First question.
Let's just paste the link in, and we'll give them a couple seconds to do it.
Click the link. Join the show. Your camera will become active. If you are naked and you get our channel banned, then you're mean, and we don't like you anymore. I don't think we're going to get anybody to click it. They're too scared.
They're a little bit behind us, and
Oh, I know. It'll be another good 30 seconds before we get
I don't
someone
even know what the hell that link is for. They're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. So I'm a little upset because Sparkling Cyanide totally posted something that's not my email address in the chat room.
Oh
my goodness. People are going to email me at that address that I don't have.
Oh, shucks. I shouldn't have thought. No, I
Somebody said they need to go put on pants. Let me just tell you, that is not necessary.
No, pants are not. If your camera is pointed in the right direction, pants are not necessary. Right, Matt?
Brian Herman has joined.
Brian Herman!
Topic, go.
We don't like you anymore.
God, that could be us.
You've got a little delay. You're probably going to have to turn off your speakers if you're listening on speakers.
Caller, turn down your radio. Turn down your radio.
It'll be another good 30.
Caller, turn down your radio.
See, that's the thing, though, is the folks in the chat room weren't prepared by wearing headphones. Headphones are ideal, by the way. Yes. Headphones are ideal.
You're going to find that the show that you're listening to versus the show that you're attending are two different things.
I think he just threw that dog.
Okay.
He threw a dog.
We'll give him another chance because he's the only person that's taken the bait.
No, I appreciate it. We need some more people. He clicked the link, man. He bit the bullet, clicked the link.
Swallowed the
swallowed
pill.
The pride.
What am I talking about?
Swallowed a pill?
Was there a yellow pill?
Through the dog.
Nuprin is the yellow pill. Little it's yellow, it's different.
Nuprin. Dude, you pulled that right out of your ass. Why do you have a Nuprin? Why do you have a Nuprin?
Have a Nuprin in your ass.
Yeah, it's big news. There's no new friends in my.
This week's Android Police podcast is sponsored by Nubrin Suppositories.
Oh.
Brian's like, crap, where the heck are my headphones?
The dog ran off with them.
The dog ate the headphones before he took off.
Okay, it looks like he's untangling headphones.
Yes, check it out. I'm gonna click the camera. I'm not the cameraman, so we're gonna make his feet active. There we go.
Now he's putting on a belt.
Come on, turn on the Google Draw, and then we can telestrate it like John Madden.
I feel like we're playing charades.
Yeah.
No, Brian's gonna come up to the left here. You see, he gets a tackle off the left guard. I'm just making up words. I don't know football.
Check.
I heard check. We need more callers.
Okay, topic, go. Yeah. What's your topic? Caller, what's your topic?
I jumped in as soon as I could.
He doesn't need a topic. He's nervous, man. Leave him alone. We usually give people like 20 minutes to prep the show before we start.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, more than that sometimes.
Yeah, dude, I was totally late as shit, which is why we started late, so we had a lot of time to...
also, Hangout sucks.
We wanted to welcome Brian to the show. Brian's actually a longtime listener, first-time kamikaze joiner of the podcast.
Frequent caller,
frequent caller to our voicemail.
Yeah.
And also a fellow Ohioan.
Yes.
Or Ohioan, as we say here in Ohio.
Ohio.
Or at least in your area.
Yeah, we don't really talk like that. We talk more Southern Ohio is like that.
Yes, that's actually more Pennsylvania.
More. Oh yeah, yuns. They say yuns in Pennsylvania.
Well, Brian, you'll be happy to know that we're not losing to the Tigers. So.
We're not.
We're not. It's tied. We're not losing.
Brian is also an avid Cleveland Indians fan.
Yes, that is true.
I am not.
So, did you have a topic or a question that you wanted to submit for the listenership?
Nah.
I always have something I end up calling in about. Although I'm sure this is for a good laugh for everyone else.
No, this is great. Everybody.
You were the only one ballsy enough to click that link and jump in.
I love the fact that everybody else asked, "What's your name? What's his name in the chat?" Brian.
His name is Brian in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to go with simplicity there. And I figure I'm just gonna dive headfirst in and learn to swim once I get in the water.
There you go.
You know what? That's how we all did it, right, Matt?
Yeah,
that's right.
In fact, we've done 126 episodes. I have no idea how to podcast yet.
I think that basically I just talk, and most of the time I don't even know what I'm talking about. So
I don't know what you're talking about either.
Basically, podcast to me means my life. That's just how I do everything.
Speaking of which, Cameron, when are you going to get another breathalyzer review?
I just did one just about a month ago.
Not on the show.
I didn't. I was gonna review it on the show, but then I couldn't bring myself to drink the Jaeger that I bought, so I didn't do it. I actually went back to the liquor store and bought some Jaeger Spice and did it the following night. So that was my bad.
I don't know if we're allowed to have another drunk podcast after the 100th one. That was
man.
Yeah.
You know, we still get requests for that though. People are like,
people either really love that or they hate everything about it.
It's polarizing. It definitely is.
All right, so Brian, let me ask you, what devices are you using now?
I have a 2012 Nexus 7 and a Nexus 5.
Nexus 5 is broken, is that correct?
It was. And actually, that's a
question I
could ask you guys.
It was broken, but it got better.
Well, I went and I bought a replacement screen on eBay. And in fact, I called you guys a couple weeks ago to ask you about it, and your recommendation was just to sell the phone broken, but I wanted the learning experience, so I went ahead and tore it apart. But I did buy a replacement screen and put it in, and now I'm wondering, it's a long story, but if I can maybe just go ahead, flip that screen back to get my money back because there was a problem with it anyways, and capitalize on the whole Nexus 5 return warranty thing.
Does anybody know the status if it's been if the seal has been broken?
I'm sure that it is technically void, the warranty, but I guess it would depend on how closely Google checks them when they come in, because I know, like, I think you're also technically not supposed to unlock the bootloader and then return it, but people do that all the time too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might get away with it.
Well, and some people said that there could be like a sticker or something that could, like an indicator. But if it is, I don't know what it is because I didn't see anything when I tore it apart.
Yeah, I mean, some devices have like one of the seal things attached to the motherboard that when you open it, it breaks it. And
Yeah, it's on the inside.
Or they have like little tiny stickers on top of screws or something like that. But yeah, I mean, the Nexus 5, I mean, it's pretty easy to pop the back off that, so maybe it doesn't even have any sort of indicator. I mean, as long as you don't have a bunch of scratches around the edge where you snuck this bluger in or whatever, then
I would say if there's a little bit of an overlap, you may want to contact Google and see if they're interested in a replacement. I wouldn't even mention necessarily the phone or the screen replacement job that you attempted, and see if that's even in the cards for your device. We can tell them what happened, and if it is, maybe you have a little bit of time to switch it back. I mean, as long as you did a decent job and there were no visible seals, I would say I wouldn't have a moral issue with sending something back as long as it's in the same shape as it was before.
Yeah, because whenever I do stuff like this, it's with the intention that it's in good shape so it can be resold.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, I'd say it's worth a shot contacting them, definitely. And if they say, yeah, go ahead and send it our way, and it might be worthwhile. What was not working once you replaced it? Was there just bad pixels, or?
Well, I bought it as OEM. And when you get a replacement screen for the Nexus 5, you can buy the frame and the screen together if you don't want to mess with just the digitizer and the glass.
From what I've heard, that's the route you want to go. I'm assuming that's not the route you went?
No, it is actually. The frame,
okay.
from what I can gather, it looks like the frame is actually OEM, but the screen was not, because the notification light was different, and the frame was glossy black, which would be a white Nexus 5, but the earpiece was black, which would be a black Nexus 5 screen. So something's not right.
It was hacked together. It's a Frankenstein part.
Yeah.
Right.
You may be able to sell it as a Frankenphone, and some weird fetish person will buy it on eBay for more than what you paid for it. And you can buy a new device.
You'd be better off with a furry phone for that, though.
Furry phone? You know a little too much about furries, Matthew.
He knows they're like hybridized phones, apparently.
No, does it look awful?
No, it doesn't. Really, I was just kind of communicating with the eBay seller from the standpoint of
not what you bought.
What's the word I'm looking for? Moral of the story or the whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
That it was advertised as OEM and it wasn't.
Yeah, take a swing at Google and see if you can do that. If you paid with PayPal, eBay will usually be super good about just giving you your money back.
Right. Well, I sent in for a replacement, and it's actually already on its way. And I figure worst case scenario is I can just send the replacement right back if I decide not wanting it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Coolio. Well, we appreciate you visiting the show. I know some of us probably have to get to editing me.
Yeah, it's getting very late. I'm sure Bertel is just like, God, stop talking, everyone. I need to go.
He's like, this is my first time. Oh, he's muted.
Bertel, you're muted. We can't hear your words.
Is he also frozen? Nope.
No.
He's
not frozen.
I'll unmute him. Can I?
I know that sometimes when there's too many participants in a hangout, they mute people.
It auto-mutes.
Yeah. Can you speak now, Bertel? Bertel! Damn it, I did it twice. Seeing a name written so many more times before you ever heard it pronounced.
Yeah. We may be having additional Hangouts issues because Hangouts hates us.
Oh.
Blame it on Brian.
Yeah. Everything was only a little bit broken before he got here.
Brian did a good job. He was the only one that had the guts to click the link, man.
That's right.
I'm going to put other links that say, Brian, click here, and then you just have to trust that.
It'll be like the 50-50 subreddit. It'll be Either
So
join a podcast or not
I can
safe for
expect
life.
Rick Astley.
Did we
Yeah.
Freak for Real reposted the link in case anyone wants to click it? Is that what that is? Or is he starting a hangout?
I have no idea. But I think we
Rafi,
need to.
Rafi asked for it to be reposted because they want to sing about baby belugas.
Baby Beluga?
Oh, we
Ooh,
have someone
Rafi.
else.
It is Rafi. Hi, Rafi.
Rafi's muted.
Welcome to the show. That's all right. I can unmute him if he has a microphone.
Unmute him.
I can't unmute him.
Really?
He's just sitting here laughing at us.
We can't.
He joined the show to laugh.
I guess I'm not surprised that you can't forcibly unmute somebody's microphone remotely.
I can, as long as they have the microphone properly selected. It may not be selected in the Google Plus Hangout.
What's interesting is you can actually forcibly unmute people who aren't even in the Hangout, just not the ones who are.
I forcibly unmute my neighbors regularly. That doesn't even make sense.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know. I'm just making. I'm trying to see if maybe there's a technical issue that Rafi's trying to figure out here. But looking at the fact that his body's not moving and he's just kind of laughing at us, I think he just joined just to smile and laugh. He's got a great smile though. I'm going to cut the camera back to Rafi here.
Did
That's
you just tell him he has a pretty
smile.
mouth?
Oh my God!
You got you a pretty mouth, Rafi. He does.
Yeah, he's just enjoying the
Which
laugh.
is good. He's allowed to come in the hangout and enjoy.
Probably his microphone has grown legs and walked away.
Maybe he doesn't have a microphone. Maybe this is a device with a non-working.
Growing legs and walking away. I think I'm going to do that now.
Yeah, we need to be going. It is very late.
Yeah.
Well,
way late.
We should plan ahead properly for the whatchamacallit, for the Kamikaze
show hosts
next time.
Kamikaze show guests, we are going to give you topics next time. We will have them prepared.
Here's what we're going to do next week. We're going to put topics on the outline that you will not be able to see. And at random points in time, we are actually going to figure out some way to forcibly make you join the podcast and then make you talk about the topics that you can't see.
That's too hard. How about
Yeah,
as soon as someone joins, we cut to a different topic that was...
That could be done. I mean, we want to have the fewest points of failure possible.
Topics on the spot.
Can anybody else join the hangout? I just want to see how many people can get on before it breaks. I have a mic.
That sounds like a great idea.
He does have a mic? Is that what the sign said? Oh. Is it on your headset? Is it? I don't hear it.
Nah.
Click the little gear and see if you can change your input to your microphone input.
Yeah, maybe it'll help when I leave. I'm leaving now. I will see you guys next week.
I was sick of you anyways.
Yeah, it is becoming increasingly unnecessary.
Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you.
I haven't seen Cameron leave.
Trophy.
So what was it, dude?
I actually have a question.
Okay.
I don't know if it's too late, but...
Whatever, go.
Okay.
Go for it.
Go.
Okay. So I have a Nexus 4, and the screen broke on it because I dropped it. So, yes. I have a mic. I think I'm getting like some kind of lag here. No, it's not.
If you're still watching the live feed, it's going to be like 30 seconds behind, so turn that off and just pay attention to the live hangout.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I'm on the live hangout. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. I'm not on the other website now. Okay. So I have a Nexus 4, and I broke the screen, and I tried to repair it myself, and then I messed it up more and actually like messed up the LCD. And then so I was wondering, so it's basically gonna fall apart within the next 2 months or something, and like there's a lot of phones coming out. So I was wondering, oh hey new guy. Anyway, I was wondering what phone I should get. I was wondering what phone you guys think I should get. I'm pretty good with like technology. I put CyanogenMod on my phone. So I like tinkering with things like that. I wonder what phone I should get.
So like in the next 2 months or right now?
No, not now. In the next 2 months, after all these phones come out.
Wait and see if the new Moto X that's going to be official in like 3 hours is good. I think that the first Moto X was awesome, even though it didn't sell very well.
There's several considerations. Are there any budget considerations, or what carrier are you with? Or?
I'm with T-Mobile, so definitely budget considerations since they don't do contracts.
Yeah, so I think that the new Moto phone is probably not going to be super expensive, and if T-Mobile doesn't carry it in stores, you would have to buy it direct from them, just like last year. But at least then it would be unlocked. But I mean, see what it looks like, because you don't even have to mess around with the ROMs on a Moto X, and I assume the X Plus One will be the same, because it's just really good, clean software that has a couple of awesome features added on top. And then there might be the new Nexus that comes out in like November or something. But I don't know. That might be a huge phone. We don't know yet. And if you're not cool with a 6-inch phone, then you could maybe jump on the Moto X if that looks good to you.
Oh, okay. I think our new caller got cold feet.
Yeah, looks like it.
Aww.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I'm going to depart as well. So.
Yeah, I think it's time to shut this down.
Well, we appreciate you guys
Brian.
joining
Thanks,
us.
Rafi,
Brian.
for joining us.
Sure.
Thanks. We'll plan this for next time.
Bertel, we
Bertel,
really appreciate you being on.
Well done, sir.
All right.
We should send David and Liam to foreign countries more often, just so you can be on the show.
Yeah,
I say we prank call them now.
Yeah, it's only like
What
5
time is
in
it
the morning.
there? 5 o'clock in the morning? Let's call them.
Well,
Okay.
I should get to my homework now, so.
Yeah.
All right, Rafi, have a good night, man. Thanks for joining.
Bye, everybody.
I see it mentioned in the chat room.
Please.
Wasn't it pretty much determined that Nexus 6 was not going to be the name because of Blade Runner?
For Shamu?
Well, that's what people have said. We don't know if it's true.
Okay.
But who knows? All right, I'm going. Bye, everybody.
We shall see.
Peace out.
Alrighty. Looks like multiple folks are joining. And I'm just sitting here. I haven't hit the end button yet. I'm just going to see if anything else happens.
I suppose I should probably duck out myself.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, Brian. It was a good time.
Yeah,
Yes,
my wife's waiting on me, so
we still have.
Hi, Brian's wife. We're not. I can see that we're not on the big screen TV this week, so.
No.
All right.
we still have to go to an Indians game.
Yes, and yeah, that's a whole other story.
We're running out of time.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
It's running out.
It's all right. We can always go to a Pee Wee softball game somewhere.
Yeah, why not? It's worth a drive.
Hey, my niece made Sports Center, so there's some good softball to be had in Aha.
Aha.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna hit the end,
guys.
We appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
Sounds good.
Later.
Peace out.